Whoops. Isn't that the grossest looking thing you've ever seen? Man, oh man, oh man. I don't know if you can see outside here. Roosters crowing in the background. Anyway, guess what today is? That's right. Test and tune day. That's right. This is the day that we are going to find out how this car goes. Okay, like I said, brand new PRC heads on the car. Still got my gas carb on. What we're planning on doing this morning. Let's go ahead and get that knocked out. We're going to go ahead and get this thing warmed up on the gas. Go ahead and get this car pre-warmed up before we get to the track. Because once we get the track, I want this thing going down the track as soon as possible. Because it is going to be busy. This is the first test and tune session at the track. So we know it's going to be busy. Weather's great. There's going to be a ton of people out here. So what we're trying to do is get the car all warmed up and all that good stuff before we get going down the track. So anyway, so what we're going to do here this morning, we're going to go ahead and get this thing started up. Go ahead and get the thing warmed up, get gas. We're on the gas carb. We're going to switch it over to the alcohol, okay? Put the alcohol on, start it up, make sure that's all good and good. Then I'll plus it to take the fuel out and put the alcohol back in it. But we'll make sure it's all good and warmed up and all that good stuff. So with that, let's go ahead and get started, get this thing warmed up and see how it goes. So here we go. Okay, first pass down the track with the new PRC heads. Gonna like this number here. I know I like it. This is right off the trailer. Hopefully you can get a good picture of that. It ran a 672 with the 5, 102.42, 147.60 foot. So that's right off the trailer. That's the same tune-up I had with the 243 heads. Same jet size, same everything. I just went up the line and just went for it. So anyway, I'm pretty pleased. That's the fastest it's ever been so far. I think it's going to go in the 60s today. Like I said, everything's pretty cool on the car right now, but once you get another pass in, I think you'll see it may pick up a little bit more. So anyway, good news. We're going to go ahead and go out there and hit it again. We already drained the oil once in this. And we'll see what else is in here. Whoops. Isn't that the grossest looking thing you've ever seen? As you can tell, testing didn't go well yesterday. More of this to come. Okay, kind of bring everybody up to date. Okay, went to the track yesterday. Only made one pass, and it ran very quick for that one pass. Actually short shifted about 5,800, and it ran its quickest time ever. And I'll post a time slip in this video right here. But with that said, what started happening yesterday, since I run a methanol, the oil became really, really milky looking. In fact, on the dipstick tube, you can see the methanol traveling up, and it went up about that far on the dipstick tube. So we didn't race anymore. What we did, just kind of loaded the car, talked to some people at the track. I had my carburetor off. I had another methanol carburetor there. We stuck on. I was trying to build a lot of heat in the motor so I can boil it out, and I couldn't. There's so much methanol and oil. We decided, heck with it, let's come home and redo it. So anyway, what we got on here now, I got my gas carb back on. We drained all the oil, got all that taken care of. I got the gas carb on it. I'm in the process of going ahead and starting the motor up and boil the rest of the methanol out here. So we're going to get a lot of oil temperature in this to go ahead and boil the methanol out. So so that's what we're getting ready to do now. So once we get that done, the objective is go ahead and throw the methanol carburetor back on here. But I want to make sure I get all the methanol out of the system first. Then we're going to go back through the methanol carburetor and check, see how you know, what's wrong with that. So we've got a few things we need to get taken care of, but we are making some progress. I am very happy how fast the car did run. Okay, let me explain kind of what happened at the test and tune. I only got, like I said, I only got one pass in, and it did really good. But after that, everything got really milky. The methanol was just getting oil like crazy and stuff. So let me kind of explain exactly what went wrong with this. I broke down the whole carburetor, okay, and we had to find out why the carburetor was leaking a lot of fuel, and I can show you why. Okay, so when we took it apart, we actually had this gasket on it. Okay, and right toward the end of last season, I took one end of the meter blocks off of it, and replaced it with a gasket. And like I said, this is my first year running carburetor. I'm not that familiar with them, but I'm learning as I go. But anyway, come to find out, this is the wrong gasket, okay? What should have been up there, or on there, okay, is this one, okay? Already tell there's a difference between the two, okay? Kind of explain, lay them side by side here. Okay, this one's identical to this one, except this has a little cutout on it. Okay, this one's come straight across. Well, what sits on this is this guy here. Okay, there we go. So this little cavity, if you will, is where your power valve goes into. Okay, and what's supposed to happen? This meter block, and see if I can really show you. Okay, so if this was up here like this, you can see we have a cavity here. Okay, so what was happening, fuel was coming in this cavity up here, okay, because of this opening right here. So when fuel was actually coming in here, what happens, see the little hole right there? Okay, see if I can point it out. This guy right here, this hole actually goes down to right here on the bottom of your base. So fuel had a direct path from inside the bowls through the meter block and into here, and was dripping out the bottom constantly, never stopping. Okay, so that's what's caused our over rich condition, a lot of methanol in the fuel and the motor oil. So this is the bad gasket that's going to get tossed away. Okay, we're going to replace it with the good one. So anyway, that's what caused our milking of the basically milking of the oil. Okay, with methanol. So unknown to me, when I took it apart, I didn't even think that to look what type of gasket was on there. Had the wrong one on, and it caused a lot of havoc. So anyway, I did go out and buy a lot more gaskets for the base, then a whole bunch of these guys. So when we tear these things apart, I got the right gasket going on. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get the carburetor back together again, and the methanol carburetor should be good to go with the next race weekend coming up. So let me go ahead and get this together and go from there. Okay, I got the bowls on, and when I was at the track, I kind of give you a highlight of what's happening. I turned it over. Someone went over and went ahead and pushed on the accelerator pump. Okay, pushing the accelerator pump caused fuel to come out of here. The guy made a comment about it. He said, "I have never seen fuel coming out at the bottom when you push an accelerator pump." And he was absolutely correct. The back one, when we pushed it, no fuel came out of it. Pushing the front one did. So we knew something was there was a problem with the front accelerator pump. So that gave us a kind of good key that something was messed up in this cavity, or something was messed up over here. We didn't quite sure knew what it was. But so if you have a gasket like this in it and you hit the accelerator pump, fuel's going to come out of here, and it should never ever come out of here. So anyway, I'm glad he mentioned something like that. I mean, I was going to plan on breaking the carburetor down anyway, but when I saw that, saw this with the wrong gasket on it, I knew we had an issue. And how I knew we had the wrong gasket, when I took off the rear one, which I did not ever replace since I got the carburetor, it was straight across. It didn't have this open piece in it. So I knew I had the wrong gasket. So anyway, now we got both gaskets. Everything's been replaced. Everything's good. Just get the base on, and this carburetor should be ready to go. So anyway, okay, got the whole carburetor all back together again. So it's all ready to go. Correct gaskets on it, so should be no issues with the carburetor this time. So like I said, this last year is my first year running with the carburetor. I really didn't know that much about it. I came from a more fuel injection, mechanical fuel injection, like the Ron system. Those I know how to tune on. Never had issues with those. Carburetor, that's a whole new ball game to me. So definitely I'm stepping out there trying to figure out how the carburetor works and all that stuff. And I'm learning as I go. So anyway, learn from me. I made a big mistake on this one. It caused a lot of issues with the car, milking the motor oil and all that good stuff. So anyway, but I am learning. So anyway, got the carburetor all fixed. Another thing that I have learned over this past year of racing and stuff is you can never have enough extra parts or extra parts work on the carburetor. And over the past year, I have been accumulating different jet sizes just to rebuild the carburetor. We got gaskets over here, so if I'm at the track I have issues. We got gaskets or pumps in here for the accelerator pumps and stuff, for the fuel regulator, different jet sizes, power valves, you name it. I've been accumulating it like crazy. So this kit right here goes to the track with me every time I go. So should be no issues if we ever have any issues with the carburetor. We'll be able to repair it and all that good stuff. So anyway, buy the carburetor. Seems like that's the cheap part sometimes. That gets more expensive of buying all the other stuff. So they kind of go hand in hand. So anyway, thought I'd throw that out there. If you are going carburetor, make sure you do carry extra parts with you. You never know when you're going to need it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing on the car. Hopefully get it started here over the weekend and go from there. So anyway, so for now, we are done working on this thing, and more stuff to do out there in the shop. So anyway, more stuff to do. We got our another battery in, 16 volt battery. The other one we did get in, it did have a crack in it at the very bottom. It has been leaking a little bit out of the bottom and stuff. So I don't know how long this battery would last. If I did, I might put some JB Weld and see if it lasts any type of length and stuff like that. These are considered dry batteries. They really don't have that much fluid in them, but I can tell you from experience, it does leak. I don't even tell here on this is a piece of steel. You can tell it's been leaking out of it. So I know it does leak a little bit. So, but anyway, I did go ahead and get a brand new one shipped to me. All we have to do now is get that put in the car and go from there. I stuck the charger on it to check it, make sure everything's looking good. And then this is actually fully charged. So next step is get it in here. So here we go. Okay, I have one slight issue. I stuck the 16 volt battery in the car. This is what it sounds like when I'm trying to I'm just trying to kick it over, okay? Okay, that's just the solenoid on the starter kicking in and out. So some reason it's not staying engaged. It just, as soon as I hit the starter, it's just bouncing. Now the only thing I know I did a little bit different on this one, I got 16 volts going up through the solenoid, but to activate the solenoid is only 12 volts. I think that might be what's causing the issue. So what I'm going to try to attempt to do, I'm going to try to attempt to go ahead and put 12 volts through the solenoid, or 16 volts through the solenoid. So when I push the starter button, 16 volts is going right up until that solenoid, and starting it from there. So that's the only thing I know that could be causing this. So let me go ahead and do a quick rewire on this real quick and see if that fixes it or not. So anyway, strange stuff. So here we go. Okay, I did a quick rewire of the solenoid. I actually turned the solenoid and wired it to 16 volts now. So now watch. Really spins pretty quick. So anyway, so we got that problem licked. That's what I thought it was. Had dissimilar voltage. One is 12 volts, one 16 volts. So I just made sure they were all on the same voltage. Thing spins over just like new. So anyway, so got that all wrapped up. So button this thing up, get the carburetor on, we'll get this thing started and see how it runs. So that's my next step. So with that, probably do that maybe tomorrow. So need to button things up here, get things swapped out, but I'll probably start up tomorrow. So anyway, with that, until tomorrow, we'll get it started.